Welcome, this is Jana speaking. If you haven't noticed, my channel has a new name. It is called Mini Miracle Maker. Why I did so, I'm going to explain you while I'm crafting. This beautiful board will be a storage place for my art and craft supplies. It shall hold a lot of small pieces in shallow drawers. It's completely DIY and the easiest and cheapest way I could imagine doing it. Let's jump right into the making. I first did some sketches, a rough one with the order parameters, 60 centimeters wide, 35 centimeters deep and 32 centimeters high, and a more detailed sketch where you can see the width of each wooden board, so I'm able to calculate all heights and lengths of the inside. Then I calculated the drawers, how many of which height. Spoiler alert, this didn't work out because I forgot to consider the parts where a drawer slides on. Then I draw the measurements onto the crafting wooden boards. It's cheap board, very cheap board, with only 4mm thickness. It's enough for my purpose, I think. Here you can see a side wall, a back wall, another side wall, some drawers, which, as mentioned, needs to be redone. I saw them one by one. Every time I need a piece, I measure, redo, check, and then saw. This way I can figure out when I made a mistake before cutting it. And it was good because of the drawer situation. Because every cut is final and crafting material is expensive. For gluing I do use some 90-degree corner clamps. I have to use some small extra boards as the clamp needs an approximately 1 centimeter thick wood to fit tightly. I realized that 4mm thick wood is a little bit too small of an area for glue to really grab on. This is a bit too little, so it broke very easily. Thus, I added 1 centimeter thick wood strips into all edges. Now the main body is done. I do smooth the edges with a file and go over all surfaces with some sandpaper. I recognize some bending on the larger pieces, on the top and bottom. As mentioned before, the wood is only 4mm thick. I thought it was enough. So once the board is done, I do want to place some stuff on top of the board. That's why I do need to add some supports, and I will do it on the inside. I do use some more wooden strips of 1 centimeter thickness, and I lay it out as a cross and the piece on the front. I don't need to support the back because the back wall already does this job. For example, this is one thing I didn't plan ahead, and so there's less space for drawers now. But now the bending is much better. Let's do the drawers. The base is the cheap wood again. The framing is made of wooden strips. I want to have different heights of drawers, so I'm using different heights of strips. But the majority of the drawers will have a height of 2.5 centimeters, like the one I've already made for testing before I do the mass production. All drawers get filed and sanded to undo little measuring errors, like maybe a millimeter too long or such. You can also use the 90-degree corner clamps for the gluing. It helps to get the angles right. Okay, here they are. All drawers are made. A quick test with the biggest one. And for beauty reasons, I will add a front board made of the same cheap wood as the whole body. The wooden strips do look a bit too different for my taste. It will also cover up the base support, and the strips I'll be placing in as a base for each drawer. The base strips for the drawers to sit and slide on will allow a small gap to the drawer underneath. This gives the drawer underneath enough room to be pulled out. Now, all drawers fit well. As mentioned, while I was planning it, I did not consider the space between each drawer and the support strips I added. So one drawer is a spare one now, and the upper drawer frame is too low. Since I don't have wooden strips fitting that height, I do need to saw them, sand them, and glue them in place. Now it's time to prepare the fronts. I mark the center of each one for the handle. Then I drill in the holes. The screws were too long. Luckily, I already had some in the right length. I think they once were a part of some other furniture, and I just kept them, as I usually do. I do prepare a whitewash. It's basically water with acrylic paint. I do use a lot of different brands of paint in this case. It's only to finally use the already opened and half-empty bottles in my stash. Basically, a way of tidying up and simply paint it all. The watered-down acrylic paint allows you to still see the wooden grain. But I also don't want to leave it plain white. I want to add some colors. I paint the handles. The most fun part is stamping. If you haven't noticed, my channel has a new name. It once was called Ruby Raven, and Ruby Raven was a made-up name by me. It was Ruby as a first name and the last name Raven. It was inspired by Rubino Ravenclaw from Harry Potter, but this channel shall not be a Harry Potter channel. I wanted to have a name that has something with miniature and dollhouse in it, because this is my passion, this is what I love to do, minis. I wanted to have something with wonders like Wonderland or Alice in Wonderland, because everything is possible there. So I chose Miracle. And then I wanted to have something creative, and I decided to go with a maker. So now we have 3 words starting with an M. Mini, Miracle, Maker. I do the spare drawer as well, because I want to use it as a tray. I can put my crafting stuff onto it and easily carry it from room to room for a fast way of tidying up. I changed my Instagram handle as well, so if you haven't checked it out already, just jump right over to Mini Miracle Maker. The last step is to wax it all. The wax seals the surface and protects the color from dirt and from coming off. The wax also fills up any cracks and uneven spots. It feels so awesome and smoothing afterwards. If you are having trouble pulling the drawers, it's probably because of the rough wood. Give it an extra sanding and waxing, and voila, the drawers slide easily. Let's take a look inside the drawers. What's there? The lowest drawer, it is also the biggest drawer, has all the little teeny tiny wooden supplies I do need for crafting. Sometimes it's stir sticks, sometimes it's toothpicks, but it's also very nicely carved tiny bits which I once bought on eBay long time ago. This drawer is almost empty, but it holds my very fine markers. Here are some magnets, mirror pieces, saw blades, some incredible detailed chess pieces, and a box of curiosities. Maybe one day I'll use them in some project. And some glass pieces as well. This is a very ordered drawer. There's a lot of jewelry supplies, screws, hardware, pearls, and some polymer clay things I've already made. Let's get a closer look on this one, because there's so many teeny tiny bits and pieces. And this is my most favorite drawer. And here is my jewelry. I have done all these pieces myself. If you're interested in some, you can see them on Etsy. And this drawer holds all my gems. Aren't they beautiful? This drawer is still also almost empty. It holds some empty and some filled sorting boxes. And now let's give it some love. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye bye bye.